Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Rachael Leary, and I'm with CLA. And today we are joined by Ryan Marth from Robins Kaplan. Ryan and I are going to be talking a bit about the Visa Mastercard settlement and what you can do to claim your piece of this settlement. A couple of housekeeping items, just sharing some of these for your viewing pleasure. And then as well as our agenda. So today specifically, we'll be talking about what this case is actually about and what you can expect, what the details of the settlement are and how those will impact you, how the payment settlement portal works and how you can actually get into that and file the claim, and then some potential scenarios that you personally may be running into so that we can kind of cover some of those questions that might be coming to mind. So with that, I'm going to pass this to Ryan and have him talk a little bit about what this settlement is about and how this case came to be. Ryan?
Well, thank you very much, Rachel. It's absolutely my pleasure to present to you and to your clients. I am a co-lead counsel in the payment card settlement. That means that I represent the class. So I'm doing this as part of my job appointed by the court to help get the word out to merchants who are part of the settlement to tell them that, hey, this is legitimate and this is how you can take advantage of what is yours. So first of all, what is this case about? Well, it was an antitrust case, but it's a class action, meaning that it's one lawsuit brought on behalf of everyone who meets a certain definition. And in this case, the definition is right here. It's all persons, businesses, and other entities that have accepted Visa branded cards, that's credit and debit, or Mastercard cards, also credit and debit, from the beginning of 2004 to just barely at the beginning of 2019. So it's a long class period. We fought this case for 19 years. Literally the first month that I practiced law, I worked on this case, and I'm still working on it now. So that might tell you something. But but here's what's in it for you, so to speak. We have a $5.5 billion settlement fund. That's the largest in the history of the antitrust laws, which go all the way back to 1890. And that allows merchants like you to make claims against the fund. Now, the amount you get is on a pro rata basis, and I'll explain how that works. Now, unlike some other class actions, you may have been a part of these with your business or your personal life. Sometimes you just get a check in the mail. You don't know where it's from. That's not this, okay? In this case, you actually have to go in and file a claim in order to recover, and I'm going to explain how to do that. And we should note the claims deadline is coming up here. It's May 31st, 2024, so you still have some time, but your time is not unlimited. Well, everyone wants to know, who I talk to, well, how much am I going to get? And I give the same answer, Rachel. It's always disappointing. It's I don't know.
Right.
I can't tell you. But here's what I can tell you. Here's how it works. The merchant takes the interchange fees it paid. Now, I want to tell you what interchange fees are here, because this is kind of important. You obviously know it costs you something to take credit cards, right? The majority of what you pay goes to the issuing bank of the consumer. So Rachel, if you go out to dinner and spend $100, the restaurant might get $97.50. Well, $2 out of that $2.50 that they don't get will go to your issuing bank, Rachel. So if you have a Chase card, Chase is going to get $2. That part is called the interchange fee. So
Okay.
that's something to keep in mind when you think of, how much you might be getting here. So you take the interchange fees you paid divided by the interchange fees for all merchants in America who actually filed claims. Okay, so it's not all merchants, everyone who filed claims. Multiply that by about $5.25 billion that's left in the settlement fund, and that's about how much you get. But because we don't know who's going to file, obviously we can't tell you the whole formula. So we don't really know. All that said, for most merchants, this is going to be real money.
Sure. So I guess, Ryan, looking at that and, some of those unknowns, do you still think it's worthwhile, like going through this process to claim these funds?
Absolutely, I do. And I'm going to explain a little bit about how you file the claim. And hopefully the impression you're left with is that, yeah, this is something I can do, or, maybe I want to work with CLA or someone else, but this is something that is very doable and is going to be worth my while.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
But yeah, before I get there, I did want to just say one thing. You might have seen in the news a month or so ago that there was a Visa Mastercard settlement.
I did see
Uh,
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you should just know this is a little bit different than ours. The 2024 settlement is about going forward relief. It's about reforms to Visa and Mastercard.
Mm,
Visa and Mastercard agreed to change some of their rules, to cut some of their fees in the future, but this is different than our case, okay?
okay.
You can for the 2024 one, you'd get the benefits automatically. For ours, you have to actually file a claim.
Okay, understood.
And you
Sure.
don't have to choose one or the other. You can take advantage of both. So I did just want to make sure that people knew that these are different, maybe related, but they're different.
Understood.
So
Perfect.
how
Thank
do I
you.
claim? Well, we have a settlement portal set up. It is called paymentcardsettlement.com. So you go in there, and most merchants, some merchants may have received a claim form in the mail. In that case, you can enter the claimant ID and control number from that claim form. At this point, if you're listening to this webinar, maybe you didn't get a claim form or don't remember getting one, that's okay. You can enter your tax ID right there and start your claim filing that way. Once you choose to start your claim by taxpayer ID, you can put the ID in there. Make sure you put your official business name right here. And this is important. You also want to provide some proof of authorization at this time. So make sure you have that uploaded or downloaded rather and available on your computer when you start the claim filing process.
So Ryan, can you give us an example of what kind of proof of authorization we're looking for, like certain forms, or what should we put in
Yeah,
there?
thanks, Rachel. That's a good question, and we hear that a lot. The administrator's very liberal here. They basically just want you to show something that says you are who you say you are.
Okay.
One one form that I think works really well is a W-9 because that has the business name and the tax ID on there. But it doesn't have to be limited to that. Other tax forms work great. Merchant statements work. Bank statements work. A utility bill. Just something that says you are who you say you are. One thing we see sometimes are our merchants will get like an employee would get a letter from her boss saying that she has the ability to file a claim. That's not what we're looking for. Okay, so it's that kind of more objective documents that we're looking for.
Okay, so not really a document saying that I can file, but more so something proving that I'm affiliated with the business that we're talking about.
Or that the business can file, right? So the
Correct.
business
Okay.
is affiliated with the tax ID.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
So once you log in and get your record set up, you'll get to a page that looks like this. And there's something that says authorization status or claim status. I just want to go over this quickly and explain what some of these things are because sometimes people have questions. Deficient means either you didn't provide the documentation we just talked about, or the administrator has not actually reviewed it yet. A human being has to review it. So it may take some time after you provide that documentation for someone to review it. Conflict, that means that two individuals or businesses have filed for the same TIN. The most common scenario here is that years ago, the business signed an agreement with some third party to file the claim for them. In that situation, it is possible to contact the third party and ask to be released from your contract. We can't guarantee that they're going to allow you to do that. It might be a valid contract, but oftentimes they do allow merchants out of the contract. Feel free to call me, call class counsel if you'd like assistance doing that, and we can help you out for free.
Wonderful.
Yeah, under review means that you've given documentation, the administrator is just taking time to review it, and approved is good. That means that you are able to see your data and file your claim.
So at that point, that's kind of the second step, right? Because whenever we do the initial, that's not the claim filing. We still need to wait for that approval, then go ahead and do the claim itself, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you do have the ability once if the numbers here under interchange fee total don't look right to you, what you do is just click on that link of the interchange fee total, and it's going to give you some other options. One of them is actually called Other Options. So if you go there, you can request Epic, the administrator, to provide additional research for you to help them find some data that maybe they couldn't find just by their automated process.
Okay, great.
And just so you know, some of the things they're going to ask for if you do that, they're going to ask for your estimate of your transaction volume. They don't have to be exact, just an estimate. They might want some merchant statements because that'll help them find some data. And they're going to want to have your merchant IDs that, basically the account number that you have with your processor.
Okay. So a little more legwork at that point.
Yeah, there's a little more legwork, but even at this point, you don't have to come forward with data to prove your claim. You still are at this point just giving more information to the administrator so they can find your data because they've already collected all the transaction data from the class period.
That's awesome. No more digging through old boxes.
No more of that.
Was a long time ago.
Exactly. Exactly. But rest assured that if even after the additional research, you're still not satisfied with the numbers, at that point, you do have the ability to come through and hopefully you don't have to dig through boxes, but just provide more data to show that, Epic, we think you're wrong. We really think our volume was higher than you calculated.
Okay, perfect.
So I want to go through just a couple of scenarios that people encounter. One is that you get in the mail an offer to file your claim, but oftentimes these are from third-party filers, and they will take a percentage of your claim amount, sometimes even up to 40%, to just file your claim for you. And I hope you've seen in the last couple of slides, this is something you should be able to do on your own, maybe with the help of an advisor, but certainly not something you want to swear away your 40% of your claim for. And like I said, sometimes if you have signed up with one of these outfits, you are able to request to be released from your contract, and sometimes they do honor that request. If there was a change of ownership in a business, either through purchase or sale or bankruptcy, anything like that, you have the ability to go into the portal and provide that information. They're going to ask you for documentation, such as either a purchase agreement or maybe a new corporate filing from your Secretary of State or something like that. If there's a dispute, let's say the seller thinks they own the claim, the buyer thinks they own the claim, there's actually a process in place where a former federal judge, one of the judges on this case actually, will decide which one of you holds the claim. Same thing if you have inherited a business or a business went out of business and the owner deceased and you're the beneficiary of the estate, you can provide documentation like a death certificate or will or something like that to show that you're entitled to that claim. But simply the death of a business owner does not extinguish a claim. It just basically means that you have to provide a little more information to show that you as the heir or the beneficiary are the one entitled to claim it. And finally, the other thing that we get oftentimes is we'll talk to franchisees or franchisors, and they don't know, well, I run a fast food restaurant through a major chain. Does the chain own the claim or do I? And unfortunately, the answer I have to give is it depends. The franchise agreements work a lot of different ways. Sometimes the data flows differently. Sometimes the franchise agreement affects this. You can simply talk to your advisors for assistance about whether you have the claim or the franchisor. But once again, if there's a dispute there, that's where we have the special master to decide things like that.
And I guess, Ryan, with some of these special scenarios and things that come up, I know you've covered a bunch, but I'm sure that there's a few others out there that we haven't covered today. Is there any, like, with a given situation, should we try to file the claim, or, what's your opinion in that case?
Yeah, I've got a little catchphrase I worked out, Rachel. I say, when in doubt, fill it out. So, so basically, I can't guarantee that at the end of the day, you're going to be the one who claims. But what I can guarantee is that if you don't file your claim, you're not going to get anything.
Good
So,
point. Yeah.
right. So hopefully the process is going to be easy enough for you that you can do the work to protect yourself and allow yourself to file the claim if, in fact, it turns out you are the correct claimant. I should mention too, the other thing people want to know is when are they going to get paid? Once again, I have to give the dreaded I don't know. I just tell people not to wait by their mailbox on June 1st for a check.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, we don't know how many folks are going to file, so I'm sure these things will take some time.
That's exactly it. That's exactly right.
All right. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. I think that this is a huge help, and excited for, all of our folks to be able to file these claims and get them in before that May 31st date that's coming up quickly. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And if I can just add, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to your advisors at CLA. They can put you in touch with class counsel if you need, or there's more information on paymentcardsettlement.com.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel.